From the 1011 streaming studio, this is Star City Buzz.
Hi everyone, Bill Rentschler alongside Danielle Shank in the 1011 Now streaming studio, a Memorial Day edition of Star City Buzz. Long weekend. Gonna maybe feel a little bit more like early spring as opposed to kind of our warmer Memorial Day weather that we might like.
Yeah, so if you're going to be out and about, you might want a rain jacket, maybe an umbrella, but, you know, there's plenty of reasons to get out here this weekend.
There is. We're still, again, only going to get to a handful of the things that are happening this weekend. Again, obviously, pools and stuff are opening. Mm-hmm. Again, the weather may not cooperate with that. So, again, there's all of that, and then what we're going to be talking about and more. So make sure you check out the full list on 1011now.com. Cool event happening throughout the weekend. Again, you may notice the increased traffic downtown. UNL hosting the 41st Annual Science Olympiad National Tournament. That's a mouthful.
So, so mouthful for sure. There's going to be 2,000 students representing 120 teams from across the U.S. competing in knowledge-based lab and engineering events related to the STEM field. So lots of smarty pantses will be in Lincoln.
Very much so. And there's even going to be a global ambassador team from Japan. There's going to be a meteorology event, which I would be interested in seeing what exactly that entails. But again, a ton of good events. And again, happening all over campus, downtown campus, throughout the weekend. So again, you can go and see some cool stuff.
Yeah, and they'll even have award ceremonies for students who obviously place the best in their competitions, and those will be live streamed from the Bob Devaney at 6:30 on the 23rd and 7:30 on the 24th.
And I think I also saw they're doing a Runza swap. So again, folks coming in from out of town who maybe haven't had the ability or chance to partake in a Runza will get a Runza, so I think that's pretty cool. So again, that's just one of the things happening throughout the weekend. There's again a couple other things. There's got state season. Again, you have state tennis happening here in town. You obviously have state baseball, state track happening up in Omaha. You have St. Hills Global Event Center has a couple of events happening throughout the weekend. So a ton of stuff happening throughout the weekend. Drilling down kind of into day of events, though. Friday evening, Lux Center for the Arts putting on a couple interesting classes for folks.
Yeah, so starting with the wheel workshop, you'll be learning how to, the basics of a pottery wheel. So you'll have some projects making bowls, mugs, vases, things like that. So this is kind of for some younger children to kind of learn how to their way around a wheel. I'll
have that pop up on my TikTok sometimes, and I always kind of stop and watch it because it's always kind of mesmerizing to watch the wheel go. And it's like, that looks like something I could do. But I imagine if I actually went and tried that, it would not end up very.
Bill, I took a pottery class in college and it was really fun. So if I can do it, you can do it.
We'll see. Maybe you'll find me there on Friday, and then Saturday morning may find me here. It's a little early, so I don't know, but Wake Up and Paddle over at Holmes Lake. This is a really fun event. They've done it in the past before. Just kind of a relax and get out on the lake. Yeah,
so they'll have some fresh coffee and breakfast treats before going on a 90-minute morning paddle. They'll, of course, provide all of the necessary equipment and safety gear that you need before getting out on the lake, but you'll have some stunning morning views.
Absolutely. Again, maybe a little bit on the cooler side early Saturday morning, so again, bring the jacket, maybe wear a long pair of pants, but you can hit that, and then you can head on down to the Haymarket and do the farmer's market Saturday morning or whatever it might be, but just kind of a fun way to start the day, kind of going from a relaxing event like that to maybe
quite the opposite.
A little bit more intense. Roller derby happening Saturday evening. It's going to be from 5 to 9:30. No Coast Derby girls putting on their Memorial Day tournament.
Yeah, so
event.
This is happening at the Lincoln Sports Foundation. Tickets are about $12, but a good introduction into the world of roller derby.
To see the Road Warriors, the Capital City Crushers, Mad Maxine's Assassination City.
Yeah.
So you got some pretty intense team names there.
Yeah, the Road Warriors and the Capital City Crushers are looking for a rematch. So, it's not only tense because of the sport itself, but because there's some previous beef.
Some bad blood. And then another cool event happening this Sunday it's happening at the Lincoln Children's Zoo, which any chance you can get to go to the Children's Zoo, it's always a good time. But it's the Pat Clinch Peace Project, and they're hosting a fundraiser, and all the proceeds will go towards the proposed Haymarket Park skate park.
Yeah, and for the Lincoln Skate Park Association to build that, obviously. But they'll have some skateboarding demos, live music, food, vendor booths, and a raffle, of course, all that fun stuff that you need are surrounding a cool event like this to help raise money and bring the vibes up,
Yeah, and I think, they've kind of started on that green space down in the Haymarket, and again, it'll be really cool once that's kind of all put together. And again, the skate park, I think, would be a pretty cool addition to that as well.
Yeah, and so like we said, plenty of events going on, lots of performances, as there always kind of are for some of the smaller bands, around Duffy's Tavern, the Corner Bar, places like that, or the Lux Center's having the wheel workshop and a flower arranging workshop and still life drawing, so things besides just pottery.
Well, and hopefully too, maybe we're talking about Nebraska softball this weekend. They're obviously in Knoxville, but I think ESPN2 is where you can watch that the first night. I'm not sure about Saturday, Sunday, and hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed, Nebraska baseball maybe still playing this weekend up in Omaha in the Big Ten tournament.
After the incredible game last night,
extra innings, walk off. Don't know how that guy missed that catch, but
it's
there's a
about
reason
time
they play the
something
games.
swung our way, after all the heartbreak that we've
That's
had
right.
for football and other sports,
That's
where
right.
it's just so darn close.
I know.
And
I
then
know.
for once, we're like, wait, is this actually happening
Jordy,
in our
Jordy
favor?
Ball's on our team, and he dropped that ball. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible stuff. And as you can see, we have a new email.
We do.
For
We do.
where you can send your events to us. So starcitybuzz at 1011now.com.
A lot easier for us to kind of get a hold of that, not have to sift through all the other emails that come into our desk email. So appreciate it as always for everyone tuning in. Another edition of Star City Buzz. Really hope everyone has a nice Memorial Day weekend.
You've been listening to 1011 Star City Buzz. Watch, listen, stream on the 1011 Now app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.